Zayinim at base. We'll begin Zayinim and all of 4 lines from the bottom at the 2 dots. V'amar Rav Yochanan mishum Rav Yosi kol dibur v'dibur sheyatsa mepi HaKadosh Baruch Hu l'toiva. Any word, any utterance of the Kadosh Baruch Hu that was for good, that was a promise to do good. Afil al tonight, even if it was given all condition, lo yichazar boy, it still has permanent, still has an effect, and it was not completely retracted. Min Nolan, where do we see this? Moshe Rabbeinu. We see it from Moshe Rabbeinu, because after the Chet of the Egel, Moshe Rabbeinu was davening for Klal Yisrael. Shenemar heref mimeni v'hashmidem. Leave me, and I will destroy them. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, don't daven for them. Ve'esa oischa l'goy atzim, and I'll make you for a great nation. So that was the original intent, that he wanted Moshe Rabbeinu to be now the continuation of Klal Yisrael. I'll make you a great nation. Now, even though Moshe Rabbeinu davened and he was mevatel that gzera and Klal Yisrael survived, nevertheless, the promise was still mekuyim, at least partially, in his children. Shenemar b'nei Moshe Gershon v'Eliezer v'Yibnei Yezer Rachva Rosh Gaimu v'nei Rachva Rachavia ber Rabba Lamalo. So it says, they were great, they were had great multitude. It means that they were so great, there was such a large population, more than 600,000. So just like Bnei Yisrael, they multiplied, and they grew and multiplied in Mitzrayim. They were Shishim Riba 600,000. We learn out the Gzera Shava to teach you that Moshe Rabbeinu, this promise that you will be a Goy Otzum, he also, his descendants, 600,000, he had 600,000 descendants. From the beginning of creation, there was no one that called Kadosh Baruch Hu Adon, master of the universe. Until Avram Avinu came and called him Adon. Adon means Adoshem, Adon, he is a master, controls the universe, he's the supreme controller of the universe. Nobody called the Rebbeinu Shalom Adon until Avram Avinu. The question arises that the word Tzaddik came prior, there was Noach, there was Shem, etc. And one shot is that they acknowledged it, but they didn't proclaim it to the world. Avram Avinu proclaimed it to the world that Rebbeinu Shalom is the Adon HaOlam. Shenemar, where do we see this? How do I know that I will be able to inherit the land? So Avram Avinu in his tefillah proclaimed Adon. Daniel in his tefillah to Rebbeinu Shalom, and he was answered on account of Avram, because he was titled B'schus Avram. Shenemar va'ata shema l'keinu al tfilas avdecha v'al tachnuna v'har panecha al mikdashcha hashamim l'man Adon Hashem. So l'man chomi boile. It should say he was addressing the Rebbeinu Shalom. He says, on your account, you should now build the base of Mikdash and have mercy on the base of Mikdash, which was destroyed for your name, for you. But now he addresses it in the third person, Laman Adoshem. So Laman Chomi Boile, and Laman Avram Shekarach Adon, in the schus of Avram Avinu that called you Adon. And his schus, you should listen to this tefillah that I'm davening to you now. And in fact, that is why we daven Shemana Esrei. We say Elokei Avram, Elokei Yitzchak, Elokei Yaakov. We start off Elokei Avram, and we end off Mogen Avram. The schus of Avram Avinu that called Rebbeinu Shalom Adon, the master of the universe, controls everything, controls the universe completely, and even what is not shaykh with Derech HaTeva, he can turn it around and does turn it around, like Avram Avinu was Zoich the children to the Oretz, etc. We daven in the schus of Avram Avinu. How do we know that we don't try to appease a person in the heat of his anger? Let his anger subside and then try to appease him. Let my anger subside and then daven. From the beginning of the creation, no one gave thanksgiving to the Rebbeinu Shalom until Leah. When she was able to give birth to Yehuda, she said, now I will give thanks to Hashem. And again, the question arises, before Leah, nobody gave thanks to Hashem. We find out throughout that there was thanksgiving. But the intent over here seems to be that she had a special dimension of Haidah that she gave, acknowledging that she was been given more than her share. Yehuda was her fourth, and the 4 wives, if it would be divided equally, each one would be only entitled to 3 sons, and she had the fourth Shevet. She gave thanks to Hashem. She gave thanks to Hashem for her child, and also gave thanks, acknowledging that Hashem has given her more than her fair share. Now we're talking about the names that are given. So Leah called her firstborn Reuven. So what is the meaning behind the name Reuven? Reuven, Amar Belazar, Amar Leah, Reuven. Look at my son. Reuma ben Benila ben Chami. Look at the difference between my son and the son of my mother-in-law, my father-in-law. Dilu ben Chami avagav de medaita zavna lebechiruse. The Esau, the son of Yitzchak and Rivka, he knowingly gave up and sold the Bechira, the firstborn, the first rights. And Chazul Maksiba, even though he sold it on his own, it says, Vayistam Esav, as Yaakov, he hated it. Uksiv, Vayomer, Hachi, Krashma, Yaakov, Akveni said, Pamaim, is that why he's called Yaakov, as he tricked me twice? Now, even though he did it on his own volition, still look at his reaction. V'ilu b'ni, my son, even though Yosef took it against his will, it was taken away from him and given to Yosef against his will. Because he desecrated the bed of his father, then it was given to Bnei Yosef, the Bechira. Nevertheless, he did not hate him, and he was not jealous of him. Who's the one that attempted to save Yosef from the brothers? It was Dafka Reuven. Darshaning further on the names, the meaning behind names given, rules, my rules. What is the meaning behind it? Amar v'yechan shezoch v'yasem mena Dovid sherivel l'kodesh baruch v'shiras v'tish b'achais. She was Zeicha rules that she had a descendant, Dovid HaMelech, that stated Rabbeinu Shalom b'shiras tipachos, given abundance of praises, shiras and tishbachos, to the praise of the Rabbeinu Shalom. How do we know that the name given has an influence on what the future actions of a person will be and its future midas of what a person is? Amar Rabbi Eliezer, Amar Kro, L'chu Chazam Mifalas Hashem. Look at the creation, the wonders of Hashem. Asher Shamais Ba'aretz. Al Tikri Shamais. Don't read it, vowelize it as Shamais, that desolation. And now it's Ela Shemus, that he created Shemus. The shame is Garim. The shame will determine the future characteristics of a person, what they will be. A wayward child, a child that had an upbringing that was improper, and he's a wayward child, it's more difficult, it's more cautious from Yosef Melchemes Gog and Magog, more than the Melchama prior to Mashiach and Melchemes Gog and Magog. Shenemar Mizmor LeDavid v'varch b'nei Avshalom b'noi. It says the Mizmor of David when he was running away from his son Avshalom. Uksi Basrei, it says after that, Hashem Rabut Sarai Rabin Kamalai. And it says, L'Hashem, there are my adversaries, many are opposing me. V'ilu gabim l'chem z'goy gemog siv l'ma rag sh'goyim v'lim hego rik v'ilu ma rabut sarai, but to that extent, ma rabut sarai like siv, it does not say by l'chem z'goy gemog, so it seems to be even more severe, the pain, the suffering of this wayward child, this rebellious child, more than l'chem z'goy gemog. So now we mentioned this passage, Mizmor LeDavid v'varchem b'nei Avshalom b'noi. It's a mizmar, a praise of Psalm of David, saying when he's running away from Avshalom, Mizmor LeDavid. What do you mean? Why is it a mizmar? Kina LeDavid miboil. It should be a lamentation. It's tsar, suffering that he's running away from his son, his rebellious son. What is this compared to? A person who has now a shtar chayv. There's a debt, a shtar, a document of a bill that shows that he's owing somebody, and he has to repay his debts. Before he pays it, he said, how's he going to repay this debt? After he finished Samech, he rejoices. Afkein Dovid, Kevin Shamar LaKadosh Baruch Hu. He didn't make him a Lacharami Beisecha. The Kadosh Baruch Hu told him in advance that there is any make him, you will be punished, and there will be a Rami Beisecha from your household will come evil. So he was said, Omar, I thought Shem Eved Mamzerhu. Maybe this rebellious person will be a slave. Maybe a Mamzer won't have Rachmim on me. Even the Chazad Avshalom, but once he saw his Avshalom, who's his son, he will have mercy on him. So, that's why he said Mizmar, meaning even in the depths of a terrible punishment, but he saw the good in it, that the Chesed Hashem, that it came from Avshalom, who ultimately would have Rachmim on him. Another member that he said is mutter. You're allowed to start up with Rishonim in this world. You're allowed to be their opponents, and you're allowed to admonish them. Those who leave the Torah, they praise the Rosh. But the ones who are Shemer Torah, no, they stand up for the Torah and they oppose the Rishonim. It's permitted to stand up against the Rishonim in this world. But if a person will say and ask, the Pasuk says, don't start up with the Rishonim. Don't be a kanoi and stand up against those who commit evil. This is said by a person who is insecure. He knows he has his own averos. So for him, a person who has his own averos, he is now in jeopardy. He is not able to stand up to the Rishonim. He's in jeopardy of falling into their hands. Don't be Zischar M'Lereim, meaning in this context it means, not as we said before, Al Tischar B'Mereim doesn't mean don't start up with the Rishonim, means don't compete with the Rishonim. Don't try to be like them. Al Tischar B'Mereim Liyaz K'Mereim. A person who's Libay Noikva, stay away from the Rishonim. Don't try to be like them. Al Tekana B'Yisav Liyaz K'Yisav. Don't try to be jealous of those who sin. You should be jealous of the people who are Yerushalayim. Try to be like them. If you see a successful Rosh, don't start up with him. We just said previously you are permitted to start up with the Rishonim. Here it says if you see a Rosh that he's successful, don't start up with him. Even in the Din Torah, he will succeed, he will be successful. Right? His mishpatim will be more, will be lofty. He'll blow away all his opponents. So you see the Rosh, you can't stand up to him. If it's on a personal matter, you see a successful Rasha, stay away because he will succeed. But Milad Ishmaya, to be Makana, L'Shem Shemayim, there it's Moter. Even in Milad Ishmaya, sometimes you don't. If you see an exceedingly successful Rasha, then even B'Milad Ishmaya, stay away because he has been given special favor in Shemayim that he is Shaloi Kederach, he succeeds. And alternatively, even a Shah, Rosh Hashanah, sometimes you could start up. Some people can start up with him. If it's Tzaddik Gomor, then Al Tischar. But if it's Tzaddik Gomor, he has the schuyas, he can oppose and stand up and be an opponent of the Rosh, even a Rosh Hashanah Mesachekes. Like Amar Avuna Ma'dirsiv, Lama Tabid Bagdim Tachlish Bebal Rosh Tzaddik Mimenu. Why do you look silently when you see that the Rasha swallows up someone who is greater than him, more of a tzaddik than him? Does the Rasha swallow up, devour the tzaddik? Hashem does not forsake him. Won't befall a tzaddik a tragedy. Ella, what does it mean? It's Tzadik Mimenu Boilaya. It means that Tzadik Mimenu, he will be able to swallow up someone who has more zchuyas than him. But Tzadik Gomer ain't a Boilaya. But at Tzadik Gomer, even a Rosh Hashanah Masechet will not be Boilaya at Tzadik Gomer. As we said, that if it's a Shah, Rosh Hashanah, he has this exceptional success, then in any event, stay away. Another member, anyone who has a makam kavua, a set place for davening, his davening is in a set place, in a prepared place, he doesn't daven haphazardly, his opponents, his enemies fall away. So it says that they will not be able to afflict him like they were previously. Rav Huna Rami ksiv lanois, uksiv lachalois. It says lanois, to make them suffer. The enemies won't be able to harm them. Then the other pasuk says they won't be able to destroy them. So where is it that this tefillah protects him? That they won't be able to destroy him, or even more, that they won't even be able to afflict him. So Betchila Lanoisa, initially, before Klal Yisrael did Averis, when they were in a higher Madrega, their tefillahs protected them, that their opponents would not even be able to afflict them. They wouldn't even be able to cause them suffering. But L'Saif, when they went to a lower Madrega and they did Averis, the tefillah did not help to that extent that the enemies would not be able to afflict them, but Al Kolponim, L'Chaloisa, that they will be protected from destruction.